Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today we're going to talk about the newest album from Squarepusher, Be Up a Hello. So this is the newest full-length album from experimental electronic producer Squarepusher, who's actually had a pretty big influence in the electronic music scene since emerging in the mid-90s. He is one of the original Warp Records signees from back in the day, and he's credited along with producers like Aphex Twin, Autechre, and LFO as being like the formation points for IDM. But for some reason, you don't really hear Squarepusher's name thrown around as much as some of the others. But over the years, he has remained pretty active. This is his 15th studio album over here. And it's been 5 years since the release of his last album, Damagin' Furries, which actually wasn't really my favorite from him. But after hearing the two lead singles from this new record over here, my interest was piqued as it sounded like Squarepusher was coming back with a vengeance. And I mean, for the most part, he does. This album is like a speedy, glitchy, and vibrant combination of like drum and bass and breakbeat electronics that somehow is squishy, heavy, and synthetic sounding all at the same time. Everything on this record rings through really clear and it's pretty crisp sounding, and there is a more noticeable energy to this release than some of his past couple albums. And the tone of this record from front to back does go through sort of like a metamorphosis, changing from like upbeat and bright in the beginning to like more serious towards the middle and then almost haunting towards the end of it. The opening cut on the record, Ober Love, is probably the most bright and upbeat spot, and also one of the more melodic cuts. And I mean, going through the rest of this record, if you are looking for more melody on here, you're probably going to end up with Blue Balls, honestly. The second track on the record also does keep up this more bright, upbeat tone that the first track lays out, but it is one of the most forgettable spots on the whole record, I think. I don't really find the groove on this track to be that interesting, and the repetition of some of these spots makes it feel like you're being led into nowhere by the end of it. But the track Nerve Levers propels this album into more intense territory directly after these first two cuts. I love the groove that he hits right out of the gate on this track, and it feels like you're in that chase scene on the highway in The Matrix Reloaded. And about 2.5 minutes into this track, there is a pretty cool change that happens with a ton of like huge sub bass that gets layered in. But the track Speed Crank is probably my favorite on this whole project. I'm loving the like digitized spiraling opening, and as this track progresses, you actually get a lot of these like really creepy and gentle melodies that are woven in underneath and add a lot more dynamic because overall, I mean, this track sounds like you're having a mental breakdown inside of a computer. Now, this album isn't just all pummeling breakbeats stop to finish. There are a couple breaks on here with two ambient tracks, the first being Detroit People Mover right in the middle. There's much more of a forlorn feeling in the lead melody on this cut that kind of signifies the shift in sound that the record takes on this, like you're losing all hope. Towards the back half of this record, the track Mech Rev Bass is the longest cut on here at over 7 minutes, but also the weirdest. I mean, as this track goes on, it kind of sounds like he's losing control and becomes a little bit more loose, especially towards the middle, if I could call anything on this record loose sounding. And then this record concludes with the second ambient cut with the track 80 Ondula. Now, this track sounds like it's coming directly out of a horror movie. Everything on this track sounds sour, whether it's the non-stop ominous synth swells or the more higher pitched melodies that present themselves through the middle of the track, and also even the more drony, like long drawn out ones towards the end of it. And then just like that, this album just kind of finishes in almost a mysterious way. And I mean, overall, I thought this was a pretty solid Squarepusher record. I did enjoy the middle of the album the most though, and I do wish that the record did carry throughout the entirety of it more of those haunting, creepy elements, as I did find those to be a lot more interesting. And a couple of these tracks really do pale in comparison to the others, like the second track Hits on You and also the track Terminal Slam. And I do think his 2001 record Go Plastic is still my favorite album of his, but Be Up a Hello does really celebrate a lot of the things that make Squarepusher a pretty awesome producer while also exploring new territory at the same time. And with that being said, I'm feeling a 7.5 over here on Be Up a Hello. I do suggest picking this record up on vinyl if you did dig this album, and Warp Records does have their first pressing up for sale with a die-cut sleeve. I'm gonna leave links down below if you guys want to grab that. And if you listen to this new Squarepusher record, what did you think about it? Leave a comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you drop a like down below so more people can see it and share it. And if you want more reviews and music content from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Peace.